Matamu tu.
Welcome back to Matamu 2 podcast, and we have yet another return guest. Welcome back, Zain.
Thank you.
Now, Zain is our friendly neighborhood Instagram influencer. That's how I always introduce her because she's really friendly.
Yes.
And she's an influencer.
I struggle with the word influencer, but
why?
yes, I'm on Instagram and I create and share stuff.
You're a whole coronavirus. What are you talking about?
Wow. Okay, sawa.
So Zain is founder of Play Academy Africa. The last time she was here, she was just...
Playroom.ke, yeah.
But aside from Playroom, now she's Play Academy Africa and the Book Nook.
Yes.
So just before even we jump into our topic today, won't you just tell me a little bit about Book Nook? I'm very interested about.
Awesome. So Book Nook is our new storytime podcast. It's a community storytime podcast because it has been made possible through all the people who have been part of the Playroom community.
Yes.
We saw the gap for children's stories where kids can hear themselves and see themselves reflected positively. And we decided to fill that gap with stories that we can all create. So down to our lawyer is from the community where we record the podcast, the authors, the parents who come to read. And then it's more like an educational tool because we have short stories and there's like immersive soundscapes and really something to boost imagination. And they're really, really fun stories. So make sure you check it out. The Book Nook at the Book Nook by Play Academy on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify.
Fantastic. Please, we'll also put links down so that you guys can follow this. And I've been listening to the podcast and I am blown away.
Wow.
I'm waiting for the day I will be asked to come and read a story.
Immediately. When we get to Nairobi, I'm not joking. It's because you are impossible to be found.
I am though. I can't be found. Not in Nairobi natoka tena.
You see, I knew it.
So, for this episode of the podcast, I actually came to find Zain on holiday, and I wanted to talk about food and road trips. So it was the longest road trip you guys have taken as a family, right?
This one, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you just a couple of things. First off, as a kid, how was your road trip / food experience?
I struggle with long road trips, but I remember growing up. I mean, I guess it's easier when you're a kid because it's just fun, it's exciting. One of the things, though, you asked about food, and I remember wanting a lot of the yum stuff you see on the road, yeah.
Oh yes.
But there was always food at home, so. My mom would pack up like literally down to water munabeba kutoka nyumbani.
Yeah.
You're not even buying on the road.
Why are you buying this water at home?
Yeah, she's made mahamris or chapati,
that's so nice.
or chips or viazi or whatever, and you carry it all the way, and it will be the same on the way back. My grandma would pack everything like fish. Imagine being the people. Who was it? Was it you who was taking or was that me? Did she pack fish for you when you went to... No, it was me. I was going back by plane and she's insisting for me to carry food, and it was like fish, a huge like 3-liter gallon of water. I'm like, it's literally 45 minutes. I'll live. I don't need the food, but she really insisted. So imagine trying to check in samaki okpakwa onto the plane. But anyway,
did they refuse? Or you also went on with it?
No, I bebad. Yeah.
Did you unleash it on the plane?
I mean, I don't think
just there with you.
I did not, but I don't think it mattered. I'm sure the person sitting next to me was like, someone here. Yeah, and because balanced meal, there was also banana packed, so it's like not the best combination, but that was me on the plane. Yeah, so that was our trips and food situation. Oh, I do remember though, because we always packed food. There was one time we kept insisting, like, no, we want this, when you're at Mtitwande, we want this, and my mom gave in once.
Just once?
Yeah, and my bro picked, what is it called? Mkate wa mayai from Titwande. And when he tried to pull it apart, there was literal strings. And remember, this thing didn't have cheese. So it had gone bad. So anyway, he had a really horrible experience, and I don't think we disturbed her that much about buying food on the road ever again. Yeah.
No, well, I guess also because a mother's love is a lot of the times expressed through feeding her
Absolutely.
people. Yeah. I remember when we were kids, the road trip depended, are you going with dad or are you going with mom? A lot of the times, okay, it would be the both of them because holidays, going home to see my grandma. But then as the years wore on, it became that it's my dad who's dropping us off just really quickly and then come back with my mom later in the holiday. Right?
Yeah.
And with those ones, I really appreciate my father. My father was no nonsense. He's like, okay, so what's going to happen? We are going to stop at your uncle's in Nakuru. You're going to have lunch, and then the next stop is Kisii.
Yeah.
So you had to make sure you had a good breakfast because you're not going to stop anywhere.
Yeah.
But every so often he would alikuwa anatuonea huruma and he would stop at Delamere and get everybody
fancy
like a small box of yogurt.
Yeah.
Right? Which that yogurt did not even last until Nakuru. It would always be drunk very, very quickly. So now, going into the issue of snacks, how was the experience with this road trip?
Snacks are basically a lifeline. They are
Absolutely.
If you're traveling with kids, the one thing you make sure you always have and of different variety is snacks.
As possible.
Like I remember it was the number one thing on the list, and I said we are taking a trolley and you're about to see way more snacks, and the comparison I gave was it'll be snacks like what I used to carry closing day. You know, the one where you go all out. My dad would do the shopping, and it was like he was buying for 10 kids, but it was just me.
The whole school even.
Nakumat bag heading. Yeah. Anyway, so there are no rules. I'm not there trying to be like, oh, eat healthy. We have candy, we have crisps, we have popcorn, in the morning because we left really early, I did make sure there was like a total breakfast. There was crepes, there was grapes, a nice balance. And then throughout the day, it was survival. And we weren't moving at any given time more than 6 hours.
Okay,
so we could make it from meal to meal. It was just snacks in between. So yeah, that's kind of what we did. And we still have more than half of what we got.
Okay.
So we are sorted for the trip back.
Yeah, because at that point, it's all about peace. It's not, you don't want problems, you want peace.
Yep, 100%.
No, it's so interesting how the rules sometimes go out the window when you want peace. Yeah, because with kids you can't.
It's survival mode. Like that during a road trip isn't when you want. Like you have to be flexible because it's as difficult for them to have their routine thrown out, to be sitting in a hot box, like just moving for endless hours. They don't know how far, how long, so they tend to get very anxious.
Absolutely.
So if the thing that's going to help them feel calm is seeing their favorite snack or feeling like adding to that excitement, they're having candy or just to get their mind off of it. For me, I say I'm gonna go for it. We're going to think about balanced diets and things like that when we get back home. Yep.
Yeah. Now you're on holiday, enjoy it.
Exactly.
Talking also about healthy snacks, on my way down to the coast, I was sat with a bunch of women, women of all ages. The church group that was coming down for a conference of some sort, right?
Yeah.
So this is the morning train from Nairobi. So when I got onto the coach, I had seen them in the waiting area, and then it turned out that my coach was the one that had like all of them. So I get onto the coach, and I'm the only other man in the whole coach of 118 people.
Wow.
So they were like, oh, my son, please help us put our bags in the overhead.
Yeah.
So I do that because we are taught to.
And you're a nice guy, generally. Yeah.
So I do that. I make sure everybody's set. To the ones where we couldn't put it on the top, I tell them, there's space under your chair, crack a joke or two, whatnot. Then I sit down, put on my neck pillow, open my Kindle, and start reading. So the train leaves on time. We get to Athi River. this is like literally 10 minutes after the train journey has started.
Yeah.
And our mamas have already pulled out the mandazis.
Wow.
And I was like, this is gonna be a long trip.
Yes.
So after a while, I hear somebody calling, Junior. I'm like, okay, there must be a child somewhere here.
Oh, it's
Junior.
you.
And then the person sitting next to me is
Yeah.
poking me. And so I look up. It's one of the ladies who had asked me to put up the bag. And she's handing me like a mandazi. So I'm like, okay, no, thank you. I'm okay. I had a big breakfast. Because I actually did have a very big breakfast. I went, I looked for food. I sat, I ate.
Yeah.
But of course, you don't say no to
They're saying thank you.
Yeah, they're saying thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I take the mandazi. And I sit with it because I'm just like, okay, this is a dry ass mandazi. I'm not gonna
You're just choking.
I'm going to joke today. Not today.
Yeah.
So I sit with it for a bit as I'm reading my Kindle. And then, I look up and this woman is looking at me with very stern eyes like, eat.
Oh my. Okay, mom.
So I start eating the mandazi, hoping that the trolley will come by quickly so I can buy some water.
Yeah.
Of course, trolley doesn't come quickly.
Oh my.
So I had to finish 2 whole mandazis dry. It was not a very pleasant experience.
Oh gosh.
But at least the trolley came a bit later. I got some water. And then we get to around Emali. They pull out more mandazis.
Mm-hmm.
So they called me over again,
You're like, oh
and I'm
gosh.
like, okay, no. And
I barely survived the first ones.
I'm okay. Then I'm like, okay, let's pack for you for later.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, thank you. Journey wears on. I'm there. They're cracking jokes. They were loud, so I couldn't even sleep. I hadn't slept very well the previous night. So I was like, I'm going to sleep on the train. Wapi, it was just too loud. We get to Mtito. They pull out the popcorns.
Mm-hmm.
So I hear again, Junior. I'm like, oh shit. They give me popcorn. So I'm holding the popcorns in my hand. I'm really trying to finish this one chapter on the Kindle so that I can then now start eating the popcorn.
Yeah.
So I look up and then the woman is again looking at me, Stanley, like, eat.
Oh gosh.
So I had to just pause, change hands and start eating the popcorn. So I eat the popcorn. After a bit, we get around Voi. They pull out the juice.
Hey.
Again,
Okay, so the juice could have come
like
with the mandazis for
a
real.
long time
I don't know
ago.
why this time in between.
So they pull out the juice. By that point, the person was there was a lady seated opposite us. She was like, "Hey, these women have really loved you. Are you a last one?" I was like, "Yes, I am." That's why. Hey,
Uko na tu uso ya uishe. Last balls tunawajua.
But okay. So anyway, so we get ahead just past Voi, and they literally pull out a whole sufuria of githeri.
What?
And this is the point where I did not even look up. I was like, I'm
Junior.
not going to have githeri today.
Junior. Umelala. You just start fake sleeping. They can't wake you up.
Which reminds me of when my mother was going through her health food phase. Mm-hmm. Bless her soul. Mm-hmm. She goes through these phases quite often.
Yeah.
And we're going to Matamu as kids, just the kids. And so she packed for us a wheat-based githeri to eat on the way.
Explain.
Where the maize is, you use wheat.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So it's wheat and, even to make it worse, it's wheat and peanuts.
Whoa. Is that a githeri?
Technically.
Okay.
Technically, right? So
that's like the veggie sticks that are made from eggplants. Like, can we give them another name?
But no, it's a stick.
Is it though? Is it?
It could be. So this one time, so we're going to Matamu by train.
Yeah.
I remembered it when you mentioned the train, and you'd get on the train at 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
in the evening in Nairobi and get to Mombasa almost at midday the next day.
Yeah.
It was a really long.
It was
journey,
crazy,
right? So she's like, no, there's not going to be food on the train. Have some. So, those little lunch boxes we used to have. She's packed some githeri. We've gone. And now as kids, we had arranged somebody's parent was bringing snacks. So that's, we don't need this.
Yeah.
So the little food remained in that little lunchbox all the way until Watamu. And then we get to Watamu, and I'm looking at my bag. I'm like, this bag, there's something that shouldn't be here. I'm like, there's a lunchbox. Let me open it. My friend, it exploded.
Oh my gosh, it had been brewing.
It had been brewing there for over 24 hours.
Oh my God.
It exploded over everything.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And I was like, oh no.
Thanks, Mom.
So that's one of my road trip memories with food. Because
Wow.
My mother was special. She's still so special. I really love her.
And you know, that's how they're expressing their love for you, like making sure you've eaten and stuff.
Yeah.
My grandma, well, a lot of my food stories centered around my grandma, but she packed bananas for me. I do not like bananas. Anyone who knows me knows I do not like bananas
at all.
But she was always convinced this will change that day that she packed a really yummy one. And I was a prefect in school, and I took my duties very seriously, honestly, way too seriously. And I've been in class smelling banana. And you know, I was those ones for, I will write your name in red. Keep talking.
Threats.
Keep talking. Yeah. So now I stand up in front of the class and I'm like, who's carrying banana here? Okay, who's carrying banana here? That thing has been smelling, you need to put it outside. I threatened, I mean it for 2 days. That banana is still here. And if I catch you. So it turns out, without my knowledge, she'd packed a banana on the front pouch of my bag where I put my, like, I think I was putting the geometric set or something there. So that day I finally needed the geometric set and opened and, you know, like reached in how I do without looking. I'll leave it there. I never use that bag again.
Ever.
Yeah, just throw everything with it.
No, well, but you know, she thought that your mind would change.
I know, but like I was being followed by the smell of banana and I couldn't. It was like being haunted. Yeah.
It's a banana ghost.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
All right, and that is all I had for this episode. This is the point, Zane, where you can promote what you want to promote. What do you want to promote today?
Awesome. I just want to let you know about Book Nook. I've already said that, so he's going to put the links
in the description.
So if you have kids 10 and below, this is such a fantastic way to make sure that they have access to rich, amazing, entertaining, funny, fun African stories.
And they're so good.
And we are no longer in the age of just Sungura, and although those stories were awesome,
they were lit. Mr. Kamau.
Yeah. So this will expose them to stories about space, stories about, you know, adventurers and things like that, where they can see themselves as the protagonists. So I would really encourage that you listen and follow. And then you can also catch me on @playroom.ke. We usually have a bunch of fun events and caregiver workshops and things to really support you and build a village around you as a parent, so you do not feel isolated. So yeah, let's be friends.
And there's one you've forgotten.
Which one?
Play Academy.
Yes. So if you find me on Playroom, just know I'm constantly talking about Play Academy, which is the initiative under which all these caregiver workshops and kids play dates and all these fantastic things happen. So yeah, tupatane huko @playacademy.africa.
Thank you so much. And something before we wrap up, something that really struck me about the podcast is that as a parent, you can actually trust that your child can listen through it without being exposed to any funny ads or anything.
Sure. That was very deliberate.
It's so fantastic. Because a lot of creators at some points will put in, you know, ad breaks and you know, you can't be sure exactly what will be put there because it's done automatically. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, we do take it very seriously, the responsibility of who the people who are listening to our stuff is. And if it's not just listening, even during our play dates, we would be very rich if we allowed every brand to do what they wanted to do with the kids, but it is a sacred space and we just want them to feel valued and appreciated and free to be children without someone trying to sell them something or without, you know, a parent having a hard time because, you know, the person who's following your child with a thing you don't want to buy.
Oh, yes.
And here comes a tantrum. Yeah.
The same
applies to the podcast. So karibu sana.
All right. I will put the links in the description below. So please make sure that you go and listen to the podcast. Follow Zain on Instagram and, join in. It's a good time. Always. Thank you so much, Zain, for coming onto the podcast again. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, James. I'm happy Matamu is back. It was way too long.
Well, all good things come to those who wait.
True.
All right. We will be back with the Matamu 2 podcast. We don't know when, but we will be back.
Whoop, whoop.